Welcome back to another Trade Outs technical analysis. We're going to talk about Bitcoin today. Obviously, a lot of volatility here in the last 24 hours. And, across the market, a lot of altcoins obviously having quite a big move to the downside. And, as far as trading bots goes, I do want to touch on that because, again, a very, very, very good day for bots as long as you're not overextended. So I want to kind of talk about that a bit. And if you are overstated, I'm going to give you a few pointers on what you can do to kind of get back on track. Let's get to the video. So I wanted to do a live stream today, actually. I wanted to do a public live stream. I did two separate VIP live streams today. I did one in the morning because obviously when I woke up, I saw that the move, I saw the move that had happened overnight, and we had a live stream the day before talking about potential support and resistances and what to look out for, right? So I'm actually going to play a clip here in a second of that, that I also shared in Discord. But yeah, I had a couple live streams already. Both of them are over an hour long, so a little bit burnt out on the live streams, but I did want to make sure that I got a public video in, because I thought it was really important. And again, I want to touch base on the trading bots and just make sure that, if anybody needs any help with that we cover that, because there is some really important things to discuss. But as far as Bitcoin, I'm actually going to play for you a very, very, very short clip directly from the VIP stream that we had yesterday, talking about the support and resistances and what to look for. All right, so here is Discord. This is where I post everything, obviously an analysis that I do, I post in here. This isn't the VIP room, but I did want to share this because I thought it was really, really important as far as understanding your support and resistance and what can happen when these levels break. But here is the video, the short 40-second video I want to play. Essentially this high, it's the same thing that I talked about. We just came back to backtest this. So this is another support level that you kind of want to see held, right? So we came back down, nice support level, big move off of it, reclaim your value area low. We're moving higher. Like, these are two levels to watch. So these, as far as local support levels that we have, really this zone and then this one, you really if we're going to push right here right now, there's really not much of a reason for us to come back below this low. So just kind of keep that in mind. There really isn't a reason. Like, we had initially a run both ways. We're pushing higher. These are the two levels that I'm kind of eyeballing right now. So what happened when we lost the level, right? Here you go. So this is the second thing that I shared. Essentially, we lost that level, right, that I spoke about. What was one support flips into resistance. Price cannot reclaim this level again. And then boom, cascade. Big move to the downside. And you're not always going to get something crazy like this. But essentially, simple explanation, which people are going to have their theories and, oh, whales manipulating and, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Like, the bottom line is there was a very easy technical reason for you to, again, like, you're not going to always expect some insane move like this, but definitely a bit of downside, right? Again, simple support resistance. This was one support, flips into resistance. You're looking for lower unless price can reclaim this level again and push higher, right? Like, simple SR flip turns into like quite the pullback, right? Again, you can say if it's a pullback or crash, whatever your definition is. But if you've been in crypto, again, you've been in crypto long enough, you'll know that these moves happen. And again, I apologize, everybody. So like I did say, I was going to do a public stream today. I did two VIP streams, and they were both over an hour in length. And I will promise I 100% will do a live stream tomorrow for sure, but I at least wanted to get a video out. That way I wanted to kind of keep this video relatively short, but there was so much going on in the charts that I felt it was very important to put a video out for everybody. So we lost a level. What's next, right? And kind of the crazy thing is absolutely insane is we are literally, right? We had this cascade, nice bounce, and we are sideways, and we have been sideways now for, let's see, 14 hours. Is this right? Is this really 14 hours? Yeah. We've been sideways for 14 hours now, which is incredible. So what's next? So I'll kind of show you what I'm looking for, and I have everything in here. I made my chart all nice. Put everything away in folders. Essentially, I'm looking for my local here. It's basically my local levels. Put some of these up. See if I'm missing anything. I think that's probably it. Keep that. I try to keep my charts a bit neater now. So, and I'll go over obviously how I got these levels. I want to update this though, just to make sure this is as correct as it can be. Adjusting these a little bit. These are fine. I'm not going to draw the point of control here, which is actually right here about 46,740. I'm not going to draw this out because I already have this, and this is your previous day point of control. It's a very important level. Considering the volatility that we had yesterday, I'm definitely today paying attention to these levels. So the previous day value area levels, I'm definitely paying attention to those. But anyway, we're in this very, very tight mini range. Like what? I mean, if you just measure the value areas, this is a 3% range. So it's, I mean, if you're a scalper, this is definitely tradable, but you know, I would prefer, I mean, again, you can trade this and it's kind of even getting tighter and tighter, right? But I would prefer to see kind of a break of this range before I look for an entry, essentially. Like that's what I went over in VIP. And kind of the areas I'm looking for is really simple. So here is a golden pocket, right? And I'll show you how I got that. So it's very simply your low to this current high, right? This is the highest point after the bounce. And you can see your golden pocket lines up right the way, basically about 44,533 bucks. That's where your 618 is. What do I like about that? The previous day value area low is actually right in this zone. So that's nice to see. You know, there's a bit of confluence there saying, oh, like you could see a bit of a bounce here if price does manage to come down here. Essentially, if you break your value area low, you know, if you basically start losing this level, I would look for a rotation down here to this previous day value area low / golden pocket. I do think, you know, with the wick that we got yesterday, this wick down here, I do think we come in and fill some of this wick. It just usually happens. Doesn't have to happen, but it's pretty, in my opinion, it's pretty likely. So like I do think we will come down and test some of these lower levels sometime, you know, possibly today. One thing that I do want to point out, if you go to a larger time frame, is if you remember this range that we were trading, right? This is the multi-month range. We were actually, you know, in it for about a month here, pushed up out of the range. We were in this range for I think 3 months or so, broke right back down into this same range, and this is our, again, multi-month range here. Came up, rejection, pushed up, broke out of the range, and basically got up to your old range value area low before. And you also had your 6-6 here, right? So part of your golden pocket. Then we've seen pretty big move to the downside. But where was the low? Simply the high of the range, the old range. So you see how we came, right? Basically back tested. This held as support. And now we're kind of back in between the two ranges, you know, trading again. So really, really important support level here that everybody should be aware of. And again, another technical reason, right? So we know, you know, we lost a really important support level. Price broke to the downside. I would say this is more of a flush to the downside. But where do we stop? The old range. Basically the high of the old range, right? So this, as crazy as this price action was, very technical though. It's still very technically traded. And then obviously now we're in this new daily candle and we're in this very tight range. And should we go to just a 15-minute? And that's essentially what I'm looking for, right? So either rotation down here, I would be interested, you know, like this is an area of interest for myself. You know, it could possibly go even lower though. And like I had mentioned this, really want to see a reaction off of here. This is an area I would really want to be putting too many bids, to be honest with you, unless like I was live watching this in real time, just because we definitely could go lower. And then as far as the upside, you have your, like, you know, you basically have two golden pockets. I'm gonna stretch this one out a little bit. And this one here is basically from where you broke down to the low. Okay, So you see how that's your golden pocket. And again, where we broke down and you have the flush to the downside, that's this pull. And then you also have one from the very high, right? So this is your almost 53K. This is your top so far. And you pull that to your low, and that is this golden pocket. So it's kind of the same thing, level by level. You break your value area high. This is kind of your next initial. This is your next initial. You also have this too, which I think, is it hit yet? Not yet. This is your daily pivot. Basically where your value area high of this mini range is. We haven't come to hit it yet, but it's pretty darn close. Like this is, you could almost consider this tagged already. But that is there. And then again, or this 618 from your 53K high essentially down to your low, and that key level, right? So there's a key level here that is sitting right in the golden pocket, which I like quite a bit. And I'll show you just very briefly where I got that key level from, like why I think it's of interest. And it's simply a pretty, you know, this is just a support resistance level that I have my eye on. So you have a lot of activity around it, right? You essentially have your daily levels closing here. You know, price goes below it, rejection, rejection, rejection. You get a little bit of a wick through, still close below, almost come up here. You look at where this candle closes, right at it. Next candle opens, moves up, back test it as support, support, push up. So like this key level here is a pretty important SR level in my opinion. And this is a nice candidate here for, you know, if we do get a push to the upside, I would be aware of where, you know, this key level is right here at 49,341, like right around that area. I think you could see a reaction there. And the nice confluence that it has here is that it's also your golden pocket of the high and the low. So this is very much an important Fibonacci pull. Like this is a bearish fib retracement, and that key level is lining up right in here. So I do like to see that. So there's a few different scenarios that I'm kind of eyeballing. Again, it's kind of like you know, these are kind of the trades. I honestly prefer this one. I like to see a bit of a larger push up. I just want to be aware of this level though, you know, in case we do come up and test this 618 and push back into this range or something. They could offer a nice scalp trade, for instance. But I'm kind of more eyeballing kind of this zone or this zone and see what happens when price touches it, because it's going to hit one of these eventually, right? So that is essentially Bitcoin. That's what I'm looking for on the low time frame. But again, really pretty crazy price action. Again, 20% move to the downside, which leads me into trading bots. All right, so trading bots. I just have a few things that I want to say. First of all, if you're set up properly, right? I mean, properly is gonna, people are gonna have a different definition of what properly is to them. But for myself, I had a very good day, right? It was over $1,000 day, posted in Discord, $1,000 profit day. And I know that quite a few other people had very, very, very nice days as well. It's this type of volatility that you're really looking for that's going to give you, you know, like those types of returns in a day. When you get cascading moves like this and your bots are, you know, they're set up in a way to where you're not going to run out of funds, right? Like you're not too overextended. You're running too high risk, right? If you're appropriately sized and you get a cascade, a 20% move to the downside in this, all coins went, you know, 25 to probably 40% to the downside on this move. And then you get this bounce, right? So we talked about the 20% move down, but what did we bounce? Like what was the bounce on this? So it was a 11.74, so almost a 12% bounce off of the lows on Bitcoin, right? So really, really, really nice price action for bots. And I know even my day today is starting out really, really well. Obviously, our day started about 5 hours ago. Great start to the day. Probably going to be another pretty good day. I would like to see a break of this mini range that we're in. That would be nice to have the volatility pick up again to have the, you know, to help the trading bots out. But I just wanted to give, you know, for those of you who might be stuck in, you know, heavy red bags on this drop, like I want to take a second to like tell the community, for those, especially for those in Discord, because I was scrolling through chat, well done for a lot of people, like really, really good job. And I think the people who have been around long enough, like who were here during May, kind of did a better job remembering what that's like, right? And I think that people, were more appropriately, I guess like their risk exposure was much more appropriate and in line with, being able to protect yourself when you have this type of volatility to the downside, definitely more so than it was, 3 or 4 months ago when we had that drop. So well done to the community. I'm actually like really, really proud of that, really impressed with that. And to everybody in the community who's been very, very helpful, especially for all of the new members that we've had. But for those of you who might have had a rough day today, for whatever reason, right? Maybe you were overextended, or maybe your bots, again, I don't know, maybe you were running different settings that maybe didn't give you enough protection to the downside, whatever it is, because I know some people are running different settings that are quite aggressive, or maybe not having enough safety orders to give you this protection to the downside and to be able to, DCA your bot appropriately. The thing that I'll say is, like, if you find yourself struggling right now and you're not sure what to do, there is a video. There's actually 2 videos. Ribsy, who's one of our awesome trading bot coaches, did one about how he was managing his portfolio in the May drop. And I know I talked about, there's a video that I did where I went over kind of what I did back in May on that drop to help lower the risk of my portfolio. And I'll tell you, like, right off the bat, one thing that you can do is, if you're out of funds, or you're very low on funds in your account, and you don't want to put any more in, right? That's obviously the easy thing to do. Is that some people have reserve funds set aside for times like this where they'll put to work. But one thing that you can do is, for any of your bots that are closing deals, stop those bots, right? And essentially, why is you would stop those bots, and don't be like, you don't have to take losses. It's just when they close deals, set it to where like they won't open a new deal. And that way you have extra funds available for your other bots to hopefully, be able to start working again, right? So again, if you're out of capital, you're very, very tight, and you have a bot basically free up some funds, don't let that bot open a new deal, right? Use those funds to fix the rest of your bots. So that's one thing that you can do. And you keep repeating that until you're able to essentially free those bots that are stuck, okay? Another thing is you don't even have to wait until the bot closes the deal. So let's say that your bot is in the green, and maybe it has another % to go till it's going to hit its take profit. You can always just mark it out, right? So you're not losing money, but you're not getting the full profit at the bot. I'm going to say again, like, everybody's going to have to think what's best for themselves. But if you're stuck and you really need those funds, it doesn't hurt to just market, sell, get out of that bot, and then again have all of those funds to be able to use for the rest of your bots, right? So that's just a few things that you can do to kind of free up some capital in order to fix some of your bots that, again, maybe you didn't have enough safety orders, and you're going to need to either add some manual safety orders, or again, maybe your bot, you just ran out of funds and your bots are stuck. That's one way to free them up. But the main thing here is, and why I specifically am talking about this today, is because this move might not be done. Okay, so that's one thing that I want to say, is that we had a 20% move to the downside. Now we're kind of stuck in this range, right? What I don't want to have happen, for those of you who might be stuck in some deals now, and you can manage when you, just looking at the price action that I saw today and how my bots reacted. Now, obviously I didn't run out of funds or anything like that. Like, I had more than enough funds to cover what needed to be covered. But the market's giving you an opportunity right now. If you're overextended, it's giving you an opportunity right now to fix it. If we take, again, if something happens, in the next few hours, let's say, for example, and we get another test of these lows, it's going to crush alts again. You're going to see a lot of alts get absolutely massacred. If we take this low here, it's going to be a bloodbath. Round number 2, right? And if you're stuck now, you're going to be really stuck if that plays out. So which is why I thought it was really important, again, for me to do the video tonight for those of you who might be in that situation, or you're just, you know, this drop made you relatively uncomfortable and you managed to do fine, but you're like, man, that was a close call. You might want to consider reducing your risk a little bit just until you kind of see what happens from here as well. Like, you can always add your risk back on at any point, right? So even if we don't end up getting another flush to the downside, you know, again, sure, you might lose out on a little bit of, you know, trading bot profits, I guess you could say, if you're pulling some offline. But in the type of situation that we're in right now, unless you're very happy, like from a trading bot perspective, this is beautiful. This I had like with the trading bots, awesome day, excellent day. You know, you kind of wish every day was like this, but if you don't feel that way and you're like, man, this is really stressful, and you know, I was, you know, pretty worried about things, then what that tells you is that you're likely overexposed. Like, you have a little bit too much risk out there, and it doesn't hurt to dial it back a little bit. Because again, if we push to the upside, that's going to be really good. It's going to, again, any deals that you have that are probably stuck are going to, you know, the rest of them are probably going to be taken out in profit. But if we have another move down, which I will say, like, looking at this, I do think it's relatively likely that we're going to come back and at least we're going to, I do think we're going to fill in this wick. We typically do. We might not come all the way back down here again, but I do think we're going to come a bit lower. And again, if you're stuck now, or you're kind of panicking now, this isn't going to help you. Let's just say that. So I just thought it was important to kind of jump on here. And I just wanted to share that. Obviously, again, if you're not in Discord, we have over 7,000 people in Discord. It's an incredible community. Lots of helpful people in there. There's a lot of people doing this in Discord, obviously. You know, that's why I'd say majority of the community is there. And obviously for anybody in VIP, you know that you can reach me anytime. I'm always gonna, you know, make sure that I answer your questions and whatnot. But we already kind of talked about this in the previous live stream. But I just thought it was important again to jump on here. So just be very careful with your risk. We're in a very tight range. Either way we break, you know, I do expect a bit of follow through, which again is gonna, if we go up, it's probably gonna help your bots pretty well. We go to the downside, you're going to see some more safety orders getting filled, and I just want everybody to be prepared. So reduce your risk if you are stressing out about this move, and check out that other, again, it doesn't hurt to check out those videos that we did back in May to kind of talk about what we did to, you know, lessen our risk. That's all I got. Keep it relatively short today. Again, if you need anything, pop on over to Discord, say hello there, and we will see you on the live stream tomorrow. Trade safe out there.